Hello, I'm Lara Kılıçarslan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Washington has halted visas for Palestinians seeking medical treatment in the United States. The decision appears to have unfolded on social media after a pressure campaign from President Donald Trump's allies. The US-based charity Heal Palestine, which has come under fire for facilitating the entry of children and their families from Gaza, was thrust into the spotlight.
Far-right activist Laura Loomer made posts on X, alleging that Palestinian refugees had entered the US. Soon after, the State Department said it would conduct a full and thorough review into the visa process for Gazans. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio defended the move, claiming that there was evidence presented that some of those involved in acquiring the documents had strong links to a group like Hamas.
We're going to pause those visas. There was just a small number of them issued to children, but they come with adults accompanying them, obviously. And we are going to pause this program and reevaluate how those visas are being vetted and what relationship, if any, has there been by these organizations to the process of acquiring those visas.
Loomer, known to be a Trump ally, took to her socials again, stating that there was a mass importation of Gazans that had begun from the Biden era and spilled into Trump's administration. The move has sparked outrage from pro-Palestinian groups, with some calling it dangerous and inhumane.
The move comes as the World Health Organization warns that Gaza's public healthcare system is catastrophic. Medical facilities in the enclave are operating far beyond capacity, with shortages of medicines, blood supplies, and life-saving equipment. Israel's bombardment of hospitals has also crippled the sector. Al-Aqsa Hospital in Deir al-Balah was recently targeted. It was hit not once, but 13 times.
Inside the facilities, there are not enough beds to go around. The Al-Shifa Hospital in the north is at 250% patient capacity. And in the south, the Nasad Hospital was recently flooded with sewage water after an Israeli strike. It is at 180% patient capacity. Doctors say critical supplies are running out. 52% of medicines are out of stock, while injuries from food distribution sites are piling up, leading to shortages of blood and plasma. And Israeli restrictions also pose multiple challenges. Shipments of ICU equipment, anesthesia machines and cold chain supplies face delays or are simply denied from entry. Medics also remain locked out.
James Smith is a doctor based in London. He worked as an emergency physician in Gaza in 2024. He spoke to Newsfeed about the effect of delays with medical evacuations and says nations are in a state of total moral decay because of their inability to confront Israel over its actions.
The implications are quite simple. For every single day that delays are imposed on different dimensions of the medical evacuation process, Palestinians continue to die in Gaza. Our Palestinian colleagues, our friends and co-workers in the Palestinian health system continue to testify to the harm that is being inflicted on those who are waiting for care and who can no longer receive the sort of specialist medical, surgical or rehabilitative support that they need inside Gaza itself. And this, of course, is a direct result of Israel's extreme military violence. And that, in turn, is coupled with Israel's systematic targeting of the Palestinian healthcare system and the killing of approximately 1,600 Palestinians who were working in the health sector, many of whom were some of the leading specialists in their respective fields. The US administration has always used humanitarian posturing, effectively piecemeal humanitarian concessions, in an attempt to obscure its active participation and co-execution of the genocide alongside Israel. It's clear now that they consider that even these piecemeal humanitarian concessions are unnecessary. We're bearing witness now not only to extreme violence, the extreme violence that is inherent to the Zionist ideology, but also to a state of complete and near total moral decay. Very few states the world over have shown the moral and political courage to challenge Israel or its allies.
Australia's federal court has hit Qantas with a record fine of $59 million. The airline giant sacked nearly 2,000 ground staff during the COVID-19 pandemic and replaced them with contractors.
2020, Qantas fired 1,800 baggage handlers, cleaners and ground staff and outsourced those roles. Basically, instead of keeping their unionised workforce, Qantas decided to hire contractors. The Transport Workers Union said the decision was motivated by a desire to prevent the employees taking protected industrial action in the future. In December, Qantas agreed to pay $120 million to 1,800 ground staff for the damage the illegal sackings caused, in a deal with the Transport Workers Union. Federal court found Qantas had indeed illegally outsourced those jobs to prevent industrial action. Former CEO Alan Joyce didn't acknowledge the scandal when he spoke at an aviation conference last week, only addressing his ability to prevent the airline from going bankrupt during the pandemic. He said resilience isn't a reaction, it's a decision made years in advance, often when it's uncomfortable, even unpopular.
Qantas says it accepts the penalty and has apologized to those affected. But the workers' union and former workers have called the apology insincere and slammed the company's aggressive legal tactics.
Justice Lee has absolutely smashed Qantas today for its illegal conduct, and rightly so. This penalty of $90 million, an unprecedented amount for an industrial breach, reflects the gravity of this. This is the largest breach in industrial relations history, and it devastated these workers and their colleagues and their families.
A lot of our workers haven't found jobs. All over the age of 50s, it's impossible.
Meanwhile, in China, Swatch is the latest brand in hot water over an ad campaign which has been called racist. It shows an Asian model pulling the corner of his eyes, making a slanted eye gesture, a stereotype that sparked an immediate backlash. It comes after recent American Eagle and Dunkin' Donuts' Good Genes ads, fueling concerns that the industry is stuck in the past. The watchmaker quickly apologized and withdrew the campaign, but it sparked outrage on Chinese social media, with users calling for a boycott of Swatch. Critics argue that the pose echoed the racist slanted eye gesture that has long been used to mock Asians. Swatch is the parent company of multiple watch brands. Last year, it roughly earned 27% of its sales from China, Hong Kong, and Macau.
Really an intentional act. If this were just one isolated photo, it might be dismissed as a coincidence. However, netizens later discovered that the same gesture appeared repeatedly across multiple posters from the same brand campaign. A netizen asked, "Doesn't anyone think wearing this watch is bad luck? Feels like putting it on could land you in the hospital." Someone replied, "The brand's Red Cross logo might be the issue." Another added, "Si sounds like death in Chinese. The brand literally means death watch." A netizen teased, "Nothing kills sales in China faster than the stigma of bad luck." Someone is surprised, "Is Swatch really willing to abandon the Chinese market?" Another replied, "This time it feels like it's targeting all Asians at once." A netizen with a US IP asked, "How come the American version of this page is different?" A Canadian netizen said, "This image is also problematic. It looks like someone is being arrested with their hands forced behind their back." Someone teased, "Are they trying to offend every major country one by one?" Another teased, "Is this some new marketing stunt?" Gotta admit, I've never even heard of this brand before this controversy.
Turkey's homegrown social media platform Nextsosyal, a local version of X, has already racked up over 1 million users. Developed under the leadership of the Turkish Technology Team Foundation, or T3, the app has quickly topped the mobile store charts, becoming the most downloaded free app in the social network category. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan made his first post on the platform on Monday, quoting Turkish poet Erdem Beyazıt's verse, "A flower sprouted between concrete walls," before asking followers, "Are you ready?" Billed as a platform built on trust, innovation, and national values, Nextsosyal allows users to share news, lifestyle, technology, and current affairs. According to its creators, unlike other platforms, it is free from misinformation, ads, profanity, bots, and manipulative algorithms. They also say it stands out for its AI integration. Powered by Turkey's own large language model, T3 AI, the app boosts engagement by responding quickly to user-tagged posts. In a world where memes and TikTok trends shape everyday conversation, internet culture is rewriting English language. This year's Cambridge Dictionary update is proof. Words like skibidi, tradwife, and delulu have officially been added to the English lexicon. For anyone hoping these quirky terms would be a brief internet fad, you might want to think again. The dictionary's editors say these newly coined words are here to stay. Among more than 6,000 new entries, here are some that make the cut.
It starts with skibidi, born out of a surreal YouTube animation and now part of everyday slang. It's the kind of word you can drop into any conversation, whether you mean cool, bad, or nothing at all. From playful nonsense to self-delusion, the next one is delulu. It's tongue-in-cheek shorthand for when someone is living in their own fantasy, usually by choice. The controversial social media phenomenon tradwife has also made the cut. It is described as a social media identity where women post about embracing traditional gender roles, presenting domestic life as a lifestyle brand. Then there's the very practical mouse jiggler, a sign of how pandemic work culture has left its mark on our language. A device that keeps your computer awake during work hours, even when you're away from your desk. And it's not the only new entry shaped by the workplace. Another is work spouse, a phrase for those close office bonds that make office life a little more bearable. And finally, a word with political bite, broligarchy, a mashup of bro and oligarchy used to describe the handful of ultra-rich tech moguls with outsized influence.
Pack it up, people. We're heading back to Middle-earth. Actor Ian McKellen has just set off a magical firework in an announcement about the upcoming Lord of the Rings film, The Hunt for Gollum. During a panel, McKellen, Gandalf the Grey himself, revealed that he and Frodo, played by Elijah Wood, will be joining to cast for the movie. The film is directed by Andy Serkis, who also played Gollum in the original series, and is set for release in December 2027. It is being produced by Peter Jackson, the director of the original trilogy, along with his partners Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens. Earlier last year, Boyens stated that The Hunt for Gollum will feature an intense story that begins after Bilbo's birthday party and finishes before the mines of Moria.
And it's going to start filming in May. It's going to be directed by Gollum, and it's all about Gollum. But I'll tell you two secrets about the casting. There's a character in the movie called Frodo. And there's another character called Gandalf. Apart from that, my lips are sealed.
China has hosted the first ever World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing, bringing together 280 teams from 16 countries. Organizers say the event helps collect valuable data for robot development and is also a spectacular show for fans. From races and football to boxing and even dramatic crashes. Let's take a look. And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.